Here we go. Hey, hey, hey. Happy Monday evening, Jay.
Hello.
Hello. You know, I hate Monday. Do it? I hate Mondays. Do you love Monday? You know, it was a great Monday.
I don't have
Mondays traditionally suck. Like, sorry. Like, I don't even use Monday. I always call it second Sunday because I refuse to have a Monday anymore. But today was pretty good, though.
Yeah, when you end up working retail, Monday's just another day because your days are off or so spread out. You don't have that typical Monday through Friday work with a return to work on Monday.
Yeah.
Like I had to work today.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Mm-hmm. So today, welcome back everybody for another true crime and legal drama. And we are here with Jay, and we're going to do another episode in our JonBenet back look into the unsolved murder of JonBenet Ramsey. Today, we get to go over the 911 call, huh, Jay? This has been this is really interesting. We actually have this all like sectioned out, like what we're going to be doing each time, trying to give you all just a chunk of it at a time to dissect. It's easier to do than just a straight timeline, all that information all at once.
Mm-hmm.
It lets you take a little closer look at each section, get a little deeper into it. You know?
Yeah, and then on Sunday we'll go over the actual ransom note, and then on that next Monday we're actually be going to go over the morning of and the morning of and the location when they locate the body.
Right.
So that'll be covered on Monday.
Mm-hmm. Right. So that'll be on Sunday, I believe Jay said 6:00, and then on Monday we'll be back at 7:00, a little earlier than this late 10:00 at night.
Yeah, I don't have to work Monday, so
yeah, that's good. That's good. But this worked out for me today because I had a very strange day. I was online. I've been online like all day, all day. So I got a good nap in. But on that, let's just get right into it. I mean, I hope everybody is good in the chat. And if you didn't get to check out the first episode, it'll be in the playlist with all of our episodes with Jay on the channel. I didn't make a separate one just for JonBenet. I think if we get to more than 6 episodes, I will. But for right now, it's all with the other one. I don't know how you have it listed on yours. Do you have it listed separate on yours, or?
It'll just be part 1. I don't put them into a group thing. So
I am listing them by part, and I do list JonBenet in the title of every single one, so you can find them easier. Yeah. So it'll be like that. So let me pull up our let's pull up our call. Okay. Now we know that on the morning of Christmas, right?
Yep.
There was the 911 call. You want to?
Let me take it. I'll take it.
I'm gonna let you start reading. Right. We're gonna do voices today. Jay and I are gonna we're gonna do play acting with this one for you.
In December '96, John and Patsy Ramsey lived in Boulder along with their 9-year-old son Burke, their 6-year-old daughter JonBenet. On the 26th of December, Patsy woke up around 5:45, found a 3-page handwritten note. The note was addressed to Mr. Ramsey and said that JonBenet had been kidnapped. The ransom note demanded $118,000 in cash and said the kidnappers would call the Ramseys to instruct them on delivering the money. Patsy immediately called 911, and the police soon arrived at the residence. The rest of that's not so much important. What is important today is that we're going to go over the 911 call itself.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to start off. I will be the 911 operator, and Claire is going to be Patsy.
Okay, so we're just going to read the call to you as it goes. I get to be Patsy. Okay. All right.
So 911 emergency.
Police.
What's going on?
755 15th Street.
What's going on there, ma'am?
We have a kidnapping. Hurry, please.
Explain to me what's going on, okay?
We have there's a note left, and our daughter is gone.
A note was left and your daughter is gone?
Yes.
How old is your daughter?
She's 6 years old. She's blonde. 6 years old.
How long ago was this?
I don't know. I just found a note, and my daughter's missing.
Does it say who took her?
What?
Does it say who took her?
No, I don't know. It's there. There's a ransom note here.
It's a ransom note?
It says SBTC victory. Please.
Okay, what's your name? Are you?
Patsy Ramsey. I am the mother. Oh my God, please.
I'm okay. I'm sending an officer over, okay?
Please.
Do you know how long she's been gone?
No, I don't. Please. We just got up and she's not here. Oh my God, please.
Okay.
Please send somebody.
I am, honey.
Please.
Take a deep breath for me.
Hurry, hurry, hurry.
Patsy. 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 So that is the entire 911 call. Start to finish, we read it out to you. You can actually find the audio out there if you look for it. It's really easy to find. So it was actually we're not going to go too much into what the rest of this website itself goes into, because a lot of it just sounds like personal speculation. But we are going to look at here in just a second. They actually sent the 911 tapes out to have actually broke down analysis. FBI looked into it, things like that. But it says after Patsy terminated the call, the line apparently stayed open. She may not have placed it properly on the cradle. The 911 operator thought she heard 3 faint voices in the background. Audio experts enhanced the recording to see if they could make out what was being said. They thought what they might have heard was John Ramsey say, "We're not talking to you." Patsy Ramsey say, "What did you do?" And Burke Ramsey say, "What did you find?" If you listen to the enhanced recording, it's difficult to make out any of those statements. So therefore, that statement is inconclusive.
Okay. So I think I will pull up. Do you want the other one pulled up, or you just want to talk from?
Well, you can bring it up if you want to.
Sure. I did drop the link to the 911 call down there if anybody wants to see that, where we are getting the talk on there. But like Jay say, their analysis seems a little speculative. They're not pulling it from a lot of fact and sources. So we have another source that is goes into it a little bit more deeply and with the more scientific type evidence and stuff like that, not like as
So the actual 911 tape has been there has been at least 10 different audio analysis of the 911 tape used to determine whether there was additional voices that can be recovered from garbled portions of the tape. Now there are some key areas of controversy on this. Like, is Burke's voice on an enhanced tape? There's a major dispute about whether Burke and John's voices can be heard at the end of the tape. RDI theorists argue that if such voices can be heard, there is proof that the Ramseys were lying about events that morning, since they assert Burke was asleep in his bed when the 911 call was made. And was the enhanced tape ever aired on TV? Because there is a question about the authenticity of the tape. There is also a major dispute about whether the enhanced tape was ever aired on TV. Believers are certain that it was, in which case there could be less doubt about the tape's existence, but skeptics are certain it was not.
Right.
Okay. So one of the ones they sent it to was the Aerospace Corp Corporation analysis. Now, this was sent, and the analysis was requested by the BPD, the Boulder Police Department. The Aerospace Corporation reportedly had more advanced equipment, such as an analysis conducted a test of the 911 tapes. The official report of the Aerospace was given to the BPD in March of 97, but has never been released to the public. And the Aerospace Corporation has not made a comment on it. On August 21st of 98, it was reported that Robert Pence, director of the National Law Enforcement and Corrections Technology Center of the Western Region, operated by Aerospace Corp for the National Institute of Justice, said the company had no comment on the tape. Even though we acknowledge the fact that we do work for law enforcement agency is a matter of policy, we do not comment on cases that are open without written permission of the affected law enforcement agencies.
Okay. All right. So I'll take this. You want me to go for here? You've been reading all day. You've been working all day too. So the Aerospace stands behind its work. However, in 2003, according to the National Enquirer, in response to claims that two firms hired by NBC to analyze the tape had found no evidence of Burke's voice, the renowned high-tech company that enhanced the tape for the Boulder police say its original findings that Burke's voice is on the tape is correct. We stand by our work. Linda Brill, spokesperson for the Aerospace Corporation of El Segundo, California, told the Enquirer. The company maintains a division of a Department of Justice funded institute that offers space age expertise to police departments nationwide. We are top shelf, said Brill. So they defended it. They defended it, yeah, when attacked.
Except here's the problem with this.
Mm-hmm.
The two magazines that are reporting on this is the National Enquirer. Well, just the one. So the National Enquirer. Everybody knows, even during this time, even in 2003, even in the 90s, the National Enquirer posted fabricated stuff. They would literally make shit up and send it to print. They're notorious for being unreliable. Wow. Now, not saying that the statement that was made is unreliable and not true, but you kind of got to be skeptical because Linda Brill.
But it's the National Enquirer. Come on.
Yeah, but from what I understand, and I couldn't find it anywhere else, she gave no other interview with any other place talking about this. So it's hard to do the Anacido Maldonado. Hey, how's it going? Yes, you do know me.
Junior,
how's it going? Facty, what's up, buddy?
Yeah, I just met Anacido today on another stream over there with Ranty on Johnny Depp today, doing more legal. I'm all legaled up today, Jay. Yeah. It's a good day. It's a good day. Well, welcome, Anacido. And hey, Facty and NA, and everybody in the chat. Everybody.
Yeah, they all Facty, NA, and Anacido all go back to my End the Conspiracy days.
Do they? Because I know Facty and NA from over at the Shields, and I met Anacido over on Ranty's, of course, debunking. Wonderful guy. I'm really enjoying streaming with him. That was a lot of fun today. But it's good if you know them and they're friendly. This is good people.
Yeah, Facty and Andy. Facty used to call me Andy.
World.
So Facty and
Bat Boy. I remember Bat Boy. Who is that? You? That's not you. Is that?
No, we're Bat Boy from Weekly World News.
Maria wants to know if this was back when that phone hacking expose came out on the tabloid papers.
It's right around that time period. Yeah.
I think so. I think so. Well, all right. So, all right. Do you want this one or you want me to? You want to keep switching on and off? So
I can take it.
Okay, so you take this one and then I'll take the next one.
It says Burke was granted access to enhanced tape. According to lawyer Darnay Hoffman, Boulder Judge Roxanne Balin ruled that Burke was entitled to receive a copy of the 911 tape prior to his testifying before the grand jury. Hoffman posted the rhetorical question, does this mean that Judge Roxanne Balin listened to the 911 tape and made an independent assessment that Burke's voice was on it and therefore was a prior statement?
Okay. Wow. So the National Enquirer, 1998. The National Enquirer leaked the aerospace findings in a world exclusive appearing in its September 1st, 1998 issue. In a later article written by Don Gentile, appearing in July 2003, the following was leaked. Boulder detective Melissa Hickman took the tape to the Aerospace Corporation for enhancement. There, experts enhanced the tape. At first, they heard Patsy saying, "Help me, Jesus, help me, Jesus," and Burke saying, "Please, what do I do?" according to a source. After further analysis, they heard 3 distinct voices, then gave the enhanced recording to Detective Hickman. Hickman heard John Ramsey say, "We're not speaking to you," in what sounded like a very angry voice. The source said, Patsy then says, "Help me, Jesus, help me, Jesus." And finally, Burke is clearly heard to say, "Well, what did you find?" with an emphasis on the word did. When the original leak appeared in 1998, the Boulder Daily Camera reported, "The general content of the transcript in the supermarket tabloid is accurate, according to sources familiar with the investigation." But the same article also reported, "Spokeswomen for the Boulder Police and the Boulder County District Attorney's Office would not comment on the 911 tape from December 26, 1996. Well,
So Lawrence Schiller's book, it doesn't give a name. It gives a slightly different version of this conversation, which is reported in a review by the Boston Globe. Boulder Police Detective Melissa Hickman listened to the tape and wrote down what she had heard. Help me, Jesus, help me, Jesus. That was clearly Patsy's voice. Then in the distance, there was another voice which sounded like JonBenet's brother. Please, what do I do? Burke said. We're not speaking to you. Hickman heard John Ramsey say. Patsy screamed again, help me, Jesus, help me, Jesus. And then more clearly, Burke said, what did you find? Now, Steve Thomas's book from 2000, the purported aerospace findings were also leaked by Steve Thomas in his book and another book by Henry Lee in 2001, which states, for a few tantalizing seconds, police heard background sounds that they could not understand. Detectives sent this tape out to the best electronic experts in the region, and still, save for Patsy Ramsey's sobbings and prayers, nothing more could be made out of the background noise. Then the police discovered a new and expert electronics company, Aerospace Corporation in El Segundo, California, that they provided with a copy of the tape, which came back was worth all of this trouble. When these sounds were brought up many times over, police heard Burke and John in the exchange. The child says, please, what do I do? To this, John replied, we're not speaking to you. Finally, Burke is heard ask, what did you find?
Okay. Accuracy of the transcripts disputed. According to Linwood's motion in Burke Ramsey's case against CBS, these transcripts have always been the subject of dispute, with their accuracy being denied by members of law enforcement investigating the case and by John, Patsy, and Burke. Okay. And then...
So, now, I don't know if this is the one that gets into it. It might down... We'll wait to see if that comes up, because there is something about this. If it doesn't come up, I'll bring it up. Oh yeah, it's down under. Where did it go? Okay, so when you scroll down the page, if you go down to was the enhanced tape aired on TV, it states that because apparently this was played on Geraldo.
On Geraldo.
Okay. Everybody remembers Geraldo back in the day.
Geraldo. Oh, I remember that empty vault. I remember.
It said that where'd it go?
Where'd it go? So we're on the lab assessments, right? Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Are you skipping that?
Well, what I was going to say, I can't seem to find where it's at. We might get into it as we continue reading. But at some point, it does say that they believe it was a leftover residue from a previous 911 call. Because remember, at that time, nothing was digital. It was all done on tape. And they would reuse the tape after so long. So it is thought that maybe what they heard...
I think that's down in the bottom on explanations for the failure. Yeah. I think it comes up in there. Yeah. Actually.
So
okay. All right. So do we want to read? Okay. So all right.
So we want to go get into some more assessments of the 911 tape.
Okay. You want to start? You want me to start?
I'll start it off. So Professional Audio Laboratory Analysis, Tricia Griffin, forum owner of Forums for Justice, commissioned an analysis by Professional Audio Laboratories in Spring Valley, New York. What the lab found, the revised transcript from this analysis showed a few new words at the beginning of the tape, and following the keyboard typing heard at the end of the tape, has an unknown female saying, help me, Jesus, 3 times in succession. What the lab did not find There was no evidence of Burke or John's voices at the end of the tape, nor did it find any evidence of alterations to the tape or mechanical sounds. Tricia Griffith's explanation says, however, the laboratory was using a third-generation copy of the tape, and Tricia argues that Help Me Jesus comments at the end prove Linwood was lying when he claimed that there were no other voices at the end.
Okay, so critiques of analysis finding no evidence of Burke's voice. Critique of the FBI analysis. Internet poster JLs has asserted it is acknowledged as a fact that the FBI do not have the luxury of state-of-the-art equipment. In doing my research on this fascinating subject, I made an excellent contact who informed me that the government agencies often subcontract work to private companies for this reason. Critique of the Secret Service analysis. Internet poster JLs has also claimed that, as with the FBI, it is known they do not have state-of-the-art equipment and often contract out the work. Critique of the Los Alamos lab analysis. Internet poster JLs has observed, what is important to note is that this company also lifted voices. They just didn't agree on what those voices said. Critique of legal audio analysis. In response to Frank Piazza's claim that there's not enough there to give any sort of conclusive, intelligible argument, Internet poster JLs has suggested, note, he did not say there was nothing on the tape, just that he couldn't decipher it. In addition, a National Enquirer article from July 2003 claimed that a technician at Legal Audio who did not want his name used admitted there is what I perceived to be a male voice that is so buried in noise you can't tell. Critique of Team Audio's analysis. In response to David Mariasi's statement, when it was suggested that we look for these other lines of dialogue and there's 2 or 3 other people after the hang-up, that didn't happen. Internet poster JLs has pointed out, what a strangely worded statement. What didn't happen? Didn't they look for the dialogue? Didn't they find these other lines of dialogue? Or weren't there 2 or 3 other people? Is he referring to 1, 2, or 3 of these? His statement is ambiguous and poorly worded. Critique of Internet poster Dave's analysis. Internet poster JLs asserts, Dave performed his analysis using a Pentium 3 computer, a light version of some recording software, and a program he wrote himself. He did not produce any evidence of the all-crucial spectrographical analysis, and when asked about this, he stated that the person asking the question didn't know what they were talking about. The person asking the question was, in fact, a very distinguished and well-known forensic audio expert. Dave also failed to provide any proof that his methodology even worked using some of the before and after forensic audio exemplars which are on the internet. Okay.
Now, before we go any further, I kind of want to clear something up here because it may be kind of confusing to those of you that are listening and why there's so much emphasis on what happened at the end of the audio tape. Because according to John and Patsy, Burke was not awake during the time of the 911 call. So now it is believed that he was awake. You know, obviously, as we're talking about the analysis of the 911 tape, it is believed that you can actually hear his voice. So that would mean that they were not telling the truth. That he was still asleep. Now, even Burke at one point says that he was awake during the time, but he stayed in his room. And we'll probably see more of that as we continue going on. So the whole reason behind this investigation in the 911 tape here is because they're trying to create a timeline to find out what actually happened during this time. The help me, Jesus, help me, Jesus, help me, Jesus isn't that that right there at the beginning of the tape or at the end of the tape, depending on who you're talking to or where you're reading it, that's not something you're gonna think twice about. I mean, here's a mother freaked out. She's got this ransom note, so that's not in question. What's in question is the John Ramsey and Burke Ramsey part of the tape that some believe you can hear on it, others believe you can't. So this is why we're going over these expert testimonies and
this is important, whether
like
they
this.
were there at the time or not. Like they're
Yeah.
not supposed to be anywhere near her during the phone call. So why can you hear their voices? It is, it stands to reason why they would question it.
Krabby asked, "Do we have a full copy of the ransom note, the 3 pages?" Yes, we do, and we will be going over that
next
Sunday.
week.
Yep. Yes.
On Sunday.
We will definitely be covering what it says word for word and going through it, because there is there's a lot of stuff to unpack in that ransom note, especially if you've listened to or read the book What Keeps Us Up at Night with Robert Ressler. He actually talks about the JonBenet case, and he's got an interesting take on the ransom note. So now, if you don't, I'm sorry, go ahead, Claire.
Does she have a link to the audio here on her site anyway?
I don't think she did. I didn't see it, the audio.
Yeah, because if she did, I would play it. I would definitely play it for them. But I didn't find it.
I don't think either one of the websites had the actual audio itself.
Right. Well, you read. You'll hear a couple of there's going to be key clicking, people. Google.
So we're gonna continue on some of this stuff. So explanations. We're gonna go explanations for failure to corroborate aerospace analysis. So the 3 exceptions that have been offered to explain why no professional analysis of the publicly released 911 tapes have ever corroborated the reported findings by Aerospace that Burke's voice is at the end of the tape. So tapes partially erased. Internet poster Spade claims that he personally delivered a copy of the tape and CD of the phone call that he received from Boulder DA office and delivered to the top data recovery firm in Colorado. This firm allegedly found that the portion of the tape following the attempted hang-up had been erased by passing a magnet over the original. A timeline of this effort has been posted. However, this account would appear to conflict with the professional audio laboratory's assessment that no evidence of erasure was found. We will go. We kind of went over Burke's interview he did with Dr. Phil yesterday. But we'll wait and see when we get in, as we progress later, how much of the interviews that we actually have, how much we'll go over.
All right. Well, I think I found an audio. You want to try? I don't know. Do you want to wait until we're at a different spot, or?
I got 2 more things here to read, and then we can try it.
Yeah. You tell me when.
So enhanced, part of the explanation for the failure is because enhanced tapes were never released. Internet poster JLs once again has stated, "Please note that we have not heard the enhanced 911 tapes. The copies which were released a few years ago were of an unenhanced version. If you do the research on forensic audio analysis, you'll discover that they sometimes recommend that clients listen to the results of the enhanced on the lab's equipment." And then publicly released tapes are 3rd generation. Internet poster Tricia claims that to have a letter from Bill Nagel stating that the original 911 tape was put onto cassette and that this cassette was used to create additional cassettes and CDs released by Mary Keegan. These 3rd generation copies of the tapes may well not be of enough quality to reveal the additional voices in the background.
Okay.
And you about ready?
Yeah, I'm gonna switch this over and then we'll come back to it and see, because I think I have to actually share that screen to get the audio to come up. If what I've learned about StreamYard is true. Okay, and there's a question from Mrs. Cassandra in the chat. Would you answer that for me while I do this?
The Burke's interview, yeah, we already talked. I already answered that.
Oh, question. Did you? Okay, yeah. All right. So I wasn't paying attention. Caught the bear out. Like, okay. So, all right, let me just see. Hopefully you guys can hear this. Let me know if you can hear it in the play. I have not tested this audio yet, so you guys are testing it with us.
going on there, ma'am?
We have a kidnapping. Hurry, please.
Explain to me what's going on, okay?
There's a note left and our daughter's gone.
A note was left and your daughter is
Yes.
gone? How old is your daughter?
6 years old. She's blonde. 6 years old.
How long ago was it?
I don't know. I just found the note. And my daughter's
Does it say who took her?
What?
Does it say who took her?
I don't know. There's a ransom note here.
It's a ransom note?
It says SBTC. Victory. Please.
Okay, what's your name? Are you
Patsy Ramsey, I'm the mother. Oh my God. Please.
I'm sending an officer over, okay?
Please.
Do you know how long she's been
No,
gone?
I don't. Please, we just got out and she's not here. Oh my God, please.
Okay,
Please, there's somebody.
I am, honey.
Please.
Take a deep breath for me,
Please,
okay?
hurry.
Patsy.
Okay. Jay,
Hmm?
I don't hear anybody else.
No.
I don't hear.
Now,
I don't hear. Now the original. Okay, so this is what makes it. This is what makes it kind of real for you when you hear the tape and you hear nothing on it. So you know that they had to do something to the tape to be able to hear other voices, because the average ear, right? All of
Yep.
us. Did anyone in the chat hear anything but Patsy and the 911 person?
yeah, because like
because-
Krabby does say, he said, yeah, that's bad quality, and they cut it off because at one point it actually, I keep closing that one down. I gotta keep closing that one down because at the very end of it, you can hear
You could hear her typing mostly.
Yeah.
And I hear like a high pitched, almost like the tape recorder noise. You know that whine. You know what I'm talking about, like that noise in the background.
Okay.
Or which could mean that there was something on the tape prior. You know. But I don't know. I did not hear anything
typing,
but her.
and from what I'm seeing somewhere else, there was also a part where she said, "I'm sending an officer over," but I think that was actually in the.
Yeah, it
911
is
call
actually
itself.
in there.
Yeah.
It is actually, but you didn't
Yeah,
sound
okay.
like a woman. You should have been a woman. 911.
Yeah. So.
Well, anyway, here we go. Yes, and I wasn't upset enough in my reenactment. I apologize. I should have been more upset. Not to make fun, but like I really should have, because she's very distressed. Actually, I'm making a point here. She's obviously distressed. So there's no disagreeing with that.
So Linwood's motion in Burke Ramsey's 2016 defamation case against CBS includes a thorough refutation on the claim that Burke can be heard in the 911 call. Now, we know that they settled out of court. We discussed that yesterday. But if you go to the website, the JonBenet.pbworks, and you go down to that part and you click on detailed in page 4956, you open that up, and then you can actually go in and download the PDF, and you can read the complaint itself.
Okay.
That would be more of a clear thing than mine, so I didn't go into that. So we do have some other expert assessments of the 911 tape. 2 government agencies and 3 other independent labs all analyzed the 911 tape, but were unable to identify any voices at the end. So the FBI and Secret Service analysis, both of them, reportedly examined the tape to determine whether extraneous sounds at the end of the tape were human voices. They said they were unable to identify any such voices. This was reported by NBC News in 2003. Los Alamos National Laboratory analysis, according to internet poster Jales again, a post by internet poster Jameson on the thread name opposing the BPD's request to seal 911 in March of 2003. A thread that evidently has disappeared made the following claim. Pete Hofstrom would later take the 911 tape enhanced by Aerospace Corporation to New Mexico to let his brother-in-law, who worked in the Los Alamos Scientific Complex, have a crack at analyzing it. The brother-in-law apparently declared that he heard a voice say, "I scream at you." That meaningless comment managed to cast a doubt on the aerospace conclusion that Burke said, "What did you find?" and was another gift to the defense lawyers. They would now be able to point out that even the prosecutor's office and the police don't agree about what's on the tape. And then the legal audio analysis says, I would say my findings are much more in parallel with the FBI's findings. There's not enough there to give any sort of conclusive, intelligible argument, says Frank Piazza of Legal Audio in New York City. This again was reported by NBC News. And then team audio analysis, David Marissy from Team Audio in Toledo, Ohio, agrees when it is suggested that we look at these other lines of dialogue and there's 2 or 3 other people after the hang-up. That didn't happen.
Okay. That didn't happen, huh?
Yeah. So you want to take the next part there?
Yes, I do. Okay. Let me just make sure I get the right section here.
Yeah, Krabby, like Krabby said, and if it wasn't cut off, it could have been residue from the overwritten recordings, which we did talk about earlier.
I'm going to.
Krabby does say there's no way any of these expert enhancements could be used, at least not validly.
Okay. And on that note, because legal is my thing, Jay is right. I did look at the testimony provided in that document. And here is the PDF of pages 49 through 56, which is quite interesting reading. Man, do they tear it up with quite the facts about this, what they had to do to that tape to hear those voices, which could mean that they were there from something else prior. They do a very good job of it. It's worth the read. If you're interested, like I've given you at least where to find it. The pages are right there, 49 through 56 of the deposition from Burke's defamation lawsuit. They did actually put it into expert witness testimony, and it's pretty good. It really goes into some detail. So I enjoyed it, Jay. a little legal tooth, but I won't read it to you guys because it's kind of long. I mean, it's like 7 pages long. It's too much to carry in the hour. So anyway, analysis of the 911 tape by the internet sleuth. I love reading the internet sleuth parts. This is good. The internet poster Dave's analysis. Internet poster Dave did an extensive series of tests on the 9/11 tape, concluding that the source of the sounds is likely mechanical and providing no support for claims that either Burke or John Ramsey can be heard at the end of the tape. His 2003 findings and methods are reported here. He updated and extended his findings in June 2006 here. A critique of his analysis can also be found here. And for those of you that do like to follow up on the research, here is the link to True Serial's page that we are reading from. Okay. All of this will be in the description also.
Now, I will mention that I just clicked on all 3 of those where it says these can be found here, and all 3 of them can't be found.
They can. They're there. Yeah, I checked it before I posted.
Did you? Because I just clicked on them where it says his findings and methods were reported here. It says error. There was nothing there.
No, it's nothing there because when I pulled it up, it was there early. Oh my gosh. All right. I'm getting rid of the link. I'm sorry, people. It was there earlier. I could have swore it came up. All right. Removing the message. Okay. So forget the here's. Okay. So he's an internet poster anyway. We can disregard him. Yes. Okay.
Well, so, you can't disregard the armchair detectives.
We have to disregard an armchair detective where they don't even bother to keep their link up. Come on.
Well, in this case, yes.
That's right. But wait, you know where it is. 404 means no more. Okay, that's it. You're gone. You're out. 404 means no more. I'm not going there. You know, if he 404s us, he's out. Okay.
There you go. Juju B actually brought something up that I was going to mention later. But it's a good point. Says, couldn't the enhanced portion also be background noise from the 911 call center? Do all the dispatch sit in the same room?
They do.
That was kind of my thought. Is like, wait a minute. If you hear other voices, what's not to say that it's not from the call center itself?
Because even from the naked ear, let's just be reasonable. We're listening to it with the naked ear, right? We just played it. And everybody could hear at the end. You could hear her typing. You could hear whirring. You could hear sounds from the room that she is in. If anyone was talking in a hallway or anywhere else, it could have been picked up. And then when they enhanced the tape for further sound, those sounds could have bled through. Yes, it's true. And they could be speculating. And because remember, they are trying very hard to support a narrative here. Unfortunately. So could they be hearing what they want to hear also? Because I didn't hear any voices at all. And I don't have the enhanced tapes playing for me to hear it. And there's all this back and forth about how they enhance them anyway and whether that actually is legitimate evidence now, if that actually is accurate and can be portrayed the way they're portraying it. I mean, there's a lot of speculation here on that evidence alone. Very good question. Very good point, Juju. All right. Did Steve Thomas lie about 911 tape? Skeptics argue that the Professional Audio Laboratory's findings, as well as FBI, Secret Service, and other expert findings, prove that neither John nor Burke's voices were at the end of the call as alleged in the Thomas book. Thus, they interpret these findings as evidence that Thomas lied in his efforts to frame Patsy. To date, Thomas is the only individual to have provided a first-hand account of the aerospace findings. All other claims of what police may have heard on an enhanced tape are hearsay. Okay? That isn't, legally, that is a profound statement, which means it doesn't matter what they heard on an enhanced tape. It ain't getting into evidence. That statement right there means it's not getting in. It don't matter. We go with the regular 911 call. The enhanced version is out. As far as legally prosecuting anybody for these charges. Don't you agree, Jay?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Jay does not care about the legal stuff at all.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I was trying to listen to, because I actually found a thing on the enhanced audio.
Okay, let's just finish this and we'll go right there before we go to aired on TV. Florida case shows local police misrepresented recording tape contents. The possibility that Steve Thomas lied cannot be dismissed out of the hand since there have been such cases in the past. Internet poster Biz has asserted that Eisenbergs of Tampa Bay, accused of disposing of their missing daughter Sabrina, were also charged with saying many, many things on a hidden recorder tape placed in their bedroom after the disappearance. They were reported as saying it was your fault, it was the cocaine, and other insinuations that they were involved. After the tapes were reviewed again by Nassau, it was proved to be complete speculation by the Tampa Police Department. The Eisenbergs sued and won. The tapes were played on television, and I could not believe that the police could attribute complete static to such precise wording. For the record, Sabrina Eisenberg has never been found. The parents could very well be involved. However, our country's top experts proved that the tapes recordings, nothing of the sort as reported by local police. Emphasis added. Oh, I love when they do that. Emphasis added, people, as if I didn't do enough. Okay.
So the next one, I'll grab the next two.
Okay.
Burke Ramsey police interview. In his interviews with the police, Burke Ramsey admitted that he had been awakened by loud voices during the 911 call, but stayed in bed. This is according to Internet poster Trill. Later in 98, Jim Jenkins said that possibly Burke had gotten out of bed and gone to the top of the stairs. But that was about it. And then the 911 tapes recycled. Another possibility is that the other voices at the end of the tapes are remnants of another call rather than statements uttered in the Ramsey house. In Burke Ramsey's defamation suit against CBS News and other parties, it is stated, item number 207, the city of Boulder recorded the 911 call on a recycled tape that had been previously used to record unknown numbers of other 911 calls. So hypothetically, Ramsey's lawyer could be lying in this matter, but it seems unlikely in light of the severe legal consequences and the ease in which that statement could be disproved if it were in fact false.
Okay, so you say you found audio.
I found what they're claiming is the enhanced audio here.
Yeah, can you drop a link in the private so I could share it for them?
No, I got shared it. We just hit click share.
Oh,
right on the bottom.
Oh, there we go.
So I've got this all the way up. So now this is just after. So we'll go right here. This is
and then I'm going to want the link later for description. Yeah. Okay.
So we'll play it here. Now this is just
Hey.
at
Patsy.
Really? I didn't hear any of that.
well,
Wait a minute.
it's still going. Hang on a second. Yeah, I didn't
don't
hear
hear it.
anything after that
I
on this one either.
I don't even hear it, Jay. It's so
Yeah.
low. I can't hear anything. Did anybody in the chat hear anything? Because nothing's coming in my headphones, Jay.
Yeah,
After the first couple of words.
Yeah.
Hey. Patsy.
Okay, the only thing I did turn my volume way up. The only thing I did hear was the "Help Me, Jesus," but that was it.
And crackling.
And some crackling. So
okay. Please give me the link and
I'll send you the link over in the private chat there.
I'm sorry. I hear a bunch of noise. I don't know. It's almost like, it reminds me of that movie where the little girl's in front of the TV. Like that noise.
Poltergeist.
Poltergeist. I didn't hear, now I'm even more confused because I don't hear any, like that is really sketch. That's to me, I'm sorry. That's very sketch that they're trying to get all of that out of that.
So I did link that YouTube.
Oh, you did? Okay.
In the chat. It's also in the private chat there too.
Okay, great.
So you guys want to listen to it for yourself, you can listen to it there. So
and all these links will be added to the description for later so that you can follow up again. But just in case you want to play before that.
Now I don't know if we really want to go into this next part because this was all a matter of like, did the enhanced audio was it actually played on Geraldo's show?
Do we care? It's Geraldo.
It's Geraldo.
Okay. So like it's 2022 and I don't think we care about that with Geraldo.
I was looking at a couple things here on that other one we were talking about, the first one where we actually read off the thing. Now there is this person who did this actually did make a couple of interesting points that I do want to kind of go into now that I've looked it over again. So we get to the point. The first couple is like, yeah, whatever. So when the 911 operator says, "Explain to me what's going on," and Patsy says, there's a note left and our daughter is gone. Now the poster says, at this point, the 911 operator only knows there's been a kidnapping. She does not know who was kidnapped. Therefore, she again explained to me what's going on. Okay. And then Patsy responds with blah, blah, blah. Patsy has an unfinished sentence. It says, "We have." It appears she's going to repeat what she told the 911 operator in a previous statement. "We have a kidnapping." However, this time she could not make that statement. Perhaps she could not lie twice. This is kind of why I don't like this reading on it. But there is something here I want to say. She does that actually has been brought up on other things that I've listened to. It says she did finish the sentence by saying, "Our daughter is gone." Order is important. The sentence appears to be out of order. So first she told the 911 operator about the note. Then she told about her daughter was gone. The most important things is JonBenet is missing. And that should have been the first thing she told the 911 operator. Patsy said that their daughter was gone. We'll see. And then it says, "We'll see how her personal dictionary plays out in regard to the words gone." I don't know what that means at all. But this may be a truthful statement. There was a ransom note in the house and JonBenet was gone. Now, the important part of this is this isn't the first time I've seen this where somebody has brought up the order in which her response was, where she responded with the note and then our daughter.
Right.
And from what I've heard in the past is if in situations, now it could be completely unrelated to anything at this point, but a lot of people who have analyzed this stuff, which much more smarter and with degrees and stuff, has said is that when you're in a situation like that where you're frantic because your daughter's missing, you're gonna say, my daughter, our daughter, and more likely you will say my daughter, even though it is, you were there
Right.
with your husband. More than
Mhm.
likely, the parent will say mine, not
Mhm.
ours, and they will
Mhm.
repeatedly say, and then they've analyzed other 911 calls for missing people, and that is always what comes first. It's always,
Mhm.
my daughter's missing, my son is
Right.
missing,
Mhm.
and then there was a note, and then
And I
that
think,
was yeah.
and the opposite order, they're trying to stress the point that means that she was trying to get the point across, that this is like something that they knew they were going to have to say on a 911 call, and she was just putting the order out there. In importance to her would be to get the information that there was a note out there, rather than that the daughter was missing. So they're flipping it as to the order and stressing the importance of it, which I could understand, but I can also understand the other way also. Sometimes I think it can't necessarily be just because you mess up the words that you say that you mean it that way. You know what I mean? Like I've got to give it a little bit of variance there. Because to me that's kind of a reach.
Yeah.
Although the one about does it say who took her when she just answers with the what?
Yeah.
I mean, that is known to be actually answering a question with a question is often a stall tactic or often used. Whether she's stalling or not, I don't know. Maybe she clearly just didn't understand her, or she's frustrated. She's frustrated to say, like, oh, well, why would I be calling you if I know who took her? Like, maybe she just pissed off that you're asking a dumb question.
Or literally,
Like,
she just, things are frantic. She literally just didn't hear what she said.
Or she did, right? But they do often say that answering a question is a question. But do you see how leading it can be? There's always, more than one option to how something can be perceived. And this, it is a little bit leading the way they're laying some of this out. Does it say who took her?
That part,
When,
okay. Where she says,
yeah.
"No, I don't." It's there. There is a ransom note here.
Yeah, and when
Okay.
asked if the note who took JonBenet, she says, "No, I don't." But in reality, the note said that a foreign faction signed by SBTC was responsible for JonBenet's disappearance. In her answer to the next question, she will mention them. Patsy had another change in language. She now calls it a ransom note and not a note. And as I look at this 911 call, I do not see a justification for the change in language. Therefore, it is an indication of deception. What? First of all, she said what? Like she didn't hear you. Then you ask a question about does it say who took her? She said, no, I don't know. Wait, like there's a ransom note here. And then maybe she's like looking at the note because she's recalling, and then she's repeating what she sees in the note. Could that be it?
Now,
Like, come on.
Now here's one thing that I've heard, and I think this was on it was one of the podcasts I listened to. They actually brought this point up too, because she specifically says ransom note, and she doesn't say note. So therefore, she knows that at some point she read enough that says that how much money they're going to need. So she's So she knows there's at least a part of the ransom. Now, according to her statement, she just read the first line or two where it says we have your daughter, and then she freaks out and doesn't continue reading. So it's kind of hard to
It is.
yeah. She says, because first off, she said, I just found a note and my daughter's missing. Then she says there's a ransom note. So that's where people and those who will analyze things like this will say that, she's, and in this case, I've heard multiple times in different places where people believe she's not telling the truth, or she can't get her story straight because she says note, and then she said ransom note, and then she said she really didn't read much, but she obviously read enough that there was money involved. So to me, it's a lot of reaching.
It is a lot of reaching, and here's the thing, and I'll play devil's advocate here because on either way of this, I'm not sure where I weigh in on the 9/11 call, but I will say this: well, you got grieving parents. Say your child is missing, okay? Whether she's involved or not, she's a grieving mother at this point, okay? whether she knows what happened or didn't. Okay, so all she would be guilty of is knowing what happened, if what they say happened. Okay, so she's still a grieving mother. She's still upset. It was like, to nitpick on the words like all of this way, as if you actually know what you're talking about at the time, who could possibly say that someone in that condition is going to act like normally, like they know what's going on, like in the normal way? They may have lots of stuff going on, and I understand that it's a whole science that they're doing here, and that there is some pattern to certain kinds of things. But when they just go and say, is she just by using the word just, that she minimizes the whole thing, they're kind of offensive to me when we're talking about a grieving parent a little bit. So I do believe they are reaching a bit, Jay. They are trying to do some armchair, analysis here without much behind it. They are using some of that language analysis that's kind of off the cuff stuff, and should not be just willy-nilly applied. It usually needs much more context. It needs much more explanation as to why you feel that way about it. At least for me to be able to take it a little more seriously. So I understand,
There's the next part here. I just want to go over briefly, because we'll go more into this part on what it actually says when we actually go over the ransom note on Sunday. But it says the ransom note was signed Victory SBTC. Patsy reversed the order saying SBTC Victory. So according to this person, it said if she had had the ransom note in her hand while talking to the 911 operator, we would expect her to look at the ransom note and mention the signature in sequential order. If she did not have the ransom note in her hand and was relying on her memory from what she read, then there could be a reason for her unknowingly reversing the order. But, which is fine. I agree with that 100%. But this part says, however, in that situation, I would not expect her to remember the letter SBTC. It is possible she looked at the very last line in the ransom note, mentioned it, and then looked at the word victory above it. Now, I've heard this explanation in one or two different other podcasts where they talked about this. And there was something in the chat that kind of goes agree with this, and I believe it was Aniceto Maldonado says, or her mention of a note is a reference to her script. Hard to say.
It is. Now, it can go back and forth, and I agree. Well, we're probably never going to know.
Yeah. Now, for that though, there is a theory out there, and I don't know how much I can't. I don't agree with the theory, and I can't put much stock into it, that it is a Ramsey, John and Patsy had created this script of what she's supposed to say on the 911 call, and she messed some things up with like note and ransom note and the victory, and then the SBTC, then victory. And there's a couple other things down here where Patsy says, when she asks your name, she says, Patsy Ramsey, I am the mother. Oh my God, please.
And then,
so it says, notice that Patsy uses the and not the pronoun her, saying I am her mother. It makes it more personal. I am the mother shows distance. So
yeah.
Now, what she says, which kind of goes along with that theory, that if she already knew JonBenet was dead, that would explain why she said the mother and not her mother, because she did not want to take, well, what this person says, she did not want to take ownership of a dead body.
Right. I get it. I do. Yeah.
Now, the last part is it. You want to cover this last one where she says, please send somebody?
Yes. Okay. So the 911 says, okay. And then Patsy says, please send somebody. Okay. The reason people call 911 is because they are seeking help, either for themselves or for someone else. Most 911 calls begin with a plea for help. I need an ambulance, or someone is breaking into my neighbors. Send the police. Patsy's plea for help appears towards the end of her call. Please send somebody. She only asked for help after the 911 operator said to her, I'm sending an officer over. Towards the beginning of her 911 call, Patsy told the 911 operator, "We have a kidnapping. Hurry, please." Saying "hurry, please" insinuates the 911 operator should send the police to her residence. However, she does not specifically ask for the police. At the very beginning of her call, she did have an inaudible statement. Inaudible police. It is possible she said "send the police" or "I need the police." There is one other odd thing with this 911 call, and that is Patsy hung up the phone. The 911 operator is your lifeline. This is the person who is going to help you. They are going to send you help. They may get the word out to be on the lookout for a certain person or vehicle. You will want to stay on the phone with the 911 operator until help arrives. Once she reports the kidnapping, Patsy hangs up the phone.
Now, I don't agree with that last statement.
I don't either, especially
because there have been numerous phone calls and 911 calls that we have seen in other cases, similar cases, even cases that don't, we're in fire cases and things like that, drownings, car accidents, where the person on the phone will talk to the 911 operator for so long, and either they'll just drop the phone or they'll hang up, or that they don't stay on the line every time. And yes, you would expect someone to stay on the line, until help shows up. That's what you would expect, but it's not often what happens, because in situations like these, in these traumatic situations, you're not going to think I need to stay on the phone, especially if the 911 operator does not say stay on the line. You're not going to think of it. You're going to figure the conversation's over. You're going to hang up and wait for the cops to show up. So that for me is a little, it's stretching a lot.
It definitely is.
And like she said, it is possible when she made the call, she could have said send the police or I need the police, because you can't catch what the first part of it is. It just, you hear something mumbling and then you hear police.
Right. It is, I have to say, we did a whole hour on the 911 call and I'm just as confused as I was before. And actually, maybe a little more after playing the actual tape and not hearing another damn voice anywhere. After hearing the enhancement, what they call is the enhancement, and granted, that could not be the actual enhancement because they're saying they won't release it, right? They're saying it's still not supposed to be out there. So I'm not so sure that is it. If it is it, like, oh my Lord, like, oh, really? Like, okay, I'm going to have to take this all to the debunkers. Like, this is ridiculous. This is a little ridiculous. I don't hear any of it.
Here's the most telling thing in all of this was the fact that the original analysis was never officially published.
Right.
So the Boulder, Colorado still has the original findings. Now, everything we've heard has been leaked audio.
Right.
So it's, somebody found it, somebody leaked the tapes. So and like they said before, these are all third, fourth, fifth person audios. We don't have the original recording. We don't have the original audio analysis.
This is true.
And I mean, and that may not come out until the killer is found, and if they're still alive and it goes to trial, then maybe we might actually get to hear the enhanced. But at this point, that is a piece of evidence that they are going to keep squirreled away and not released. And I know part of that because we have a case here in my hometown of a girl that was killed in 92. And they're not releasing any information. They still have no suspects. But the information and evidence and stuff, they're keeping very close knit to the chest.
Yeah, and sometimes that makes a lot of sense, especially when you have no suspects. You don't want the information getting to the wrong people. You don't want things skewed in any way. And closer to the vest is, it can inhibit the investigation by people not coming forward as much or not knowing what you're looking into and what might be what might not be pertinent to the investigation. But at the same time, it does keep things clean, very, very clean as far as the evidence.
Yeah, because
So,
you can ask them, well, what about, what did you see, or what happened? And
mhm,
if they keep that evidence close to that only they know what it is, they can narrow down whether that person that's confessing is telling the
mm,
truth or not telling the truth.
right, faster, cleaner, and with a
Yeah,
lot less
because it's
doubt.
like,
Yeah.
okay, well, she was wearing a green shirt. Well, she wasn't wearing a green shirt. She was wearing a
Mm,
red shirt, for
right,
example.
right. For
So that
example,
right
with
there is like,
yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
no,
Okay.
or in our
Mm,
case, she was found at the river. Now, they didn't say she was in the river or she was on the bank. She was found at the river.
mhm.
So they can narrow
Right,
down, did you leave her in the river? Did you leave her on the bank? That
right.
kind of thing, and
Mhm,
only they know exactly where
mhm,
the body was located. Well,
mhm,
obviously the person that found him knows too, but
mhm.
in first
And
responders, but it was never released to the public type of thing.
yeah. Well, in regards to looking at evidence past, like after the fact, which almost all evidence in a crime is after the fact, but this is like really, really, really far after the fact. Okay. We have to keep in mind that, first of all, Juju brings up a good point. Trying to think of times you've had to call 911 and what it was like and whether you made any sense or anything. I'm telling you, I have to call 911 and you could ask me right now and I wouldn't have I don't have a damn idea of what I said at all. The
Mm-hmm.
order, what it meant, like any of it. I probably made no sense whatsoever if it wasn't for the 911 operator trying to pull the information out of me. They wouldn't have got it. Because you just, depending on what's going on, an emotional response to things like that. I know I was probably a basket case. I don't know about anybody else. So that should be taken into consideration too, that everybody responds differently to
Mm-hmm.
emergencies, for sure. And the other thing that Krabby brings up is it's so easy to judge
Mm-hmm.
others after the fact, for real. And you would ask the others doing the analysis what their actual motives are, because as we saw in the difference in reporting just between the two people we looked at that looked at the 911 call and how they presented the evidence and what they actually said about it, one was more armchair detective style, just kind of reaching, throwing out those words like they knew what they were talking about, but giving us no reasons as to why we should believe what they know what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one, pretty straight, narrow, factual, blub, 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 but still put in stuff about, internet detectives and all of this other stuff. But at least just gave us the information and let us decide. At least that's how I read it. When I was
Mm-hmm.
reading what they wrote, there was room there for me to make a decision about what I was reading. They weren't trying to sell me a story. The other one kind of was trying to sell it to us a little bit too much for my taste. Although they brought up some valid points to consider, not to take as fact. That's the thing here. What are we doing? We're taking into consideration. We're not saying anything is an absolute. It's impossible, right?
Yeah. So I do want to give my personal opinion on this, because
Okay.
one of the things we do here on this show and on my show and everything is we try to provide you with the facts. And the facts that I have seen, and me and Claire has gone over with it over and over and over with the Morphew case about different seeing the facts differently. I don't see anything personally in this 911 call that I would call suspicious.
Mm-mm.
There's nothing there for me. Until we hear the actual analysis of what the actual audio department that listened to the actual audio and did their analysis, and we get their reports, everything is going to be circumstantial at best. I think they're stretching. The only thing I could hear on that enhanced audio that we played on YouTube, now mind you, once again, that is how many times recorded that it could have been. Some of it could. All I heard was the "Help Me, Jesus," which is understandable. If she went to hang up the phone and it didn't hang up all the way, you could still hear, So
You would
I don't
still
think
hear it.
I personally don't see anything wrong with the audio tapes, but I can see where people would look at the things and make their conclusions that they made.
Okay,
If that makes
so
sense, I can
it
understand
does.
why. I just personally don't see anything wrong with the audio tape.
Right. And I'm gonna add to that on my point of it. I come from it at just a slightly different angle sometimes because I'm more fascinated with the legal attributes. And this is what I see. There is the only 911 tape that's going to get admitted into evidence if this ever went to trial would be the original. The enhanced is already up for too much speculation into how they did it, why they did it, and what they did about it. It wasn't getting in, no way, no how. So it doesn't matter. As far as legally, when you're looking at the evidence, as far as solving the case, legally through the justice system, it's out. Only the original 911 is permitted. Period. The enhancement is gone. There's not enough there to put it in. There's too much speculation around it for it to hold water, regardless of how they did it, So it's out. So to me, it's mute. It's to me, because of my legal aspect of it, it's moot. The only one is the original tape. And if we go by what she said on the original tape, now you can get back and forth semantically on what did she mean and how she said it and the order. That may or may not pertain, depend on how much you want to get down to it. How much other evidence. I would have to see a lot more evidence against Patsy for my brain to even go there. Okay. Because I'm just not going to automatically take a grieving mother's 911 call and say that she used the word just, therefore she was making light of the situation.
Or the
that's
instead
just
of
going
her.
That's just going way too far. Now I'm just being, facts, legally I'm saying it's not going to hold water. It doesn't matter. So I can dismiss it right now. That whole enhanced tape, as far as I'm concerned, is not evidence in this case anymore. And that's where I am with it, because it would never get into trial. It would never, ever get past the door. There's just too much speculation.
Yeah. And we already proved that in this episode, where you can see where the defense versus the prosecution. Prosecution would state all these, well, this is even if they admitted the enhanced audio. This is saying they admitted the enhanced. The prosecution will go, their experts will say, well, the enhanced audio says this. But the defense, we already seen, will go, well, our experts didn't hear anything.
Oh, well, let's talk about experts. Well, first of all, because of how they did it, they can't even, it's not even going to get in to get that far, Jay. It's not. I'm telling you, the way they did it,
if that was the case, if it was admitted.
If it was, then they could go back and forth. But we can use that same argument here for how the two people presented the original case of the 911 call, the two different sources that we listed. Okay. One was very nonchalant and I tried to act like an expert. Well, here's the thing. We don't have to take them as an expert testimony. They never listed how they knew or what their credentials were for how they spoke the way they spoke about what they're thinking about this call. I never read it. I never saw where they're getting this information from or why they believe what they believe. They're not laying it out in an expert fashion. So for me, my legal side of my brain goes, well, that's out too, babe. You're not an expert witness. You're gone. My brain says, bye-bye, armchair detective. Bye. The only one I'm going to listen to over there is a Serial Girl, because at least they laid out information and facts and left it up to me to interpret how much I put the weight on those facts. And to me, that's important. So actually, the analysis of this 911 call has affirmed my belief in why I do true crime. This was an exciting episode for me. This had everything in it. You think it wouldn't. It's just a 911 call. But that was fun, Jay.
And Krabby makes two good points here. Krabby does say, I agree with Claire, and frankly, there's too many different interpretations of it to make any of it meaningful. Experts, in quotes, can be bought for the right price. And then Krabby does say, I think we saw an excellent example of how not to handle a case by the police and everyone else.
Especially with the audio tape. With that audio tape information, absolutely. Yeah.
We are actually going, when we actually talk about what happened during the morning and the afternoon of the day of it happened, you're going to see exactly how bad the police screwed this up.
Yeah. Buckle up, Broncos. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
This isn't personal. This isn't my personal take. The evidence will show you the facts, and the facts will prove to you that the police screwed this up at every turn.
Because, this isn't Amber Heard. Like, I admit to being biased about Amber Heard, but with everything else, I am not. I am completely unbiased and absolutely looking at the facts and the legal presentation thing, whether it's going to make it into court or not, what it means when it does make it into court, and how it can be argued on both sides. That's what I love about this. And also finding out who did it. I would really like to come to a conclusion at the end of this, or at least for myself, on where I think it might be. I don't know, based on what I've seen so far, if I'm going to get there, because nothing, I'm just keep dismissing everything, just dismissing it because of the way it gets handled. And I think that there's a lot of that in this case, like you said, Jay, that we got to get everybody ready. It is going to be a bumpy ride because there's just like, as soon as you think you figure something out, it just gets tossed. It gets tainted. It gets handled incorrectly.
I'm going to give you a little teaser for next Monday episode. So just at 6 a.m., Officer French searched the basement but fails to search the wine cellar room.
Say that again for me.
Officer French searched the basement at 6 a.m. but failed to search the wine cellar room.
How does an officer search a basement and leave any room in the basement unsearched?
Exactly.
That's a failure in protocol. That is just okay. See, I had to have you repeat it because I could not believe what you just said. And okay. So we're going to have a lot with this, guys. I hope you're ready. I hope you're enjoying it as much as we are on that. I think you have much more. Jay, I think we pretty well covered this.
The 911 tape. Yeah, I think we were good with the 911 call. Like next Sunday, where we'll be covering the actual ransom note. And there is a lot to unpack in the ransom note.
Right.
So expect that one to run a little bit longer.
And
obviously, we tried to keep in these to an hour, but it just doesn't seem like they're going to run an hour.
As long as we don't go like too much farther than that, it's because we enjoy it so much, and there is something to say about it. And that closing, I think the closing parts about it were important, so they know where we are on it, and that we're not just reading you evidence and then just boom, dropping it and leaving you with it. We're going to give you our opinions on it, and we want to hear yours. That's the best part for Jay and I about doing this, is having murder minions that like it as much as we do and want to contribute to the conversations, because it is a conversation about true crime. It is an absolute back and forth conversation, back and forth about something interesting to all of us. So don't feel, it's just us talking at you. We're not for this show. We're not just talking heads, are we, Jay?
Nope.
We want you to all be with us on it, and contribute as much. And that's the enjoyable part. So we're really glad when you're here to do it.
And like we talked about on Sunday, we will be having a roundtable discussion with you murder minions at some point before we end this case, to get your guys' opinions on the case.
Exactly.
After we provide the evidence and we go through the different things, when we go through the ransom note, we go through what led up to the morning, we go over some other things, and we go into some evidence, the autopsy report and things like that. Then we'll bring in the rest of you guys. The last episode will probably be everyone talking their theory.
Right. And especially in a round table where you all can speak freely and talk about it as much as you want. Some of you may not want it on YouTube, but may want to talk about it. And that's why we're doing round tables, because you might be a little freer in a conversation with us than you want it documented out here for everybody on YouTube. Either way you want to do it is fine with us. Your voices are what matters here. It's an interactive show. It is live chat discussion of true crime every single time.
Miss Cassandra, Sunday night will be at 6. And then Monday will be at 7.
And Monday it'll be at 7, right?
Yeah, so 6 p.m. Sunday on True Serial, and then 7 p.m. next Monday here.
Both will be on my community tab, and whenever Jay gets it up, he'll be sharing it on Twitter. Hopefully both of them, and so that you can find them as soon as we can get them up there for you. And about what they're going to have. All of the links that we shared today in the chat will be in the description by the end of the day. And my voice finally went after 8.5 hours of talking today. Did you hear that? It's
starting to crackle a little bit.
It finally went. Look, they finally did the bear in a day of YouTube. Look at that. like a full friggin' day of YouTube. Finally did me in, but I'm gonna have a cup of hot tea and get a good sleep in, or to start again tomorrow on another one. Thank you for sharing Jay's channel. He is always linked in the description below for every one of these that we do together. His Twitter's on there too. Anybody that's not in the Discord and does want to be in the Discord as a murder minion, it is a closed Discord unless you are a collaborator of mine, or you we're not open for membership yet because I'm still not at 1,000. Well, I'll get there someday, you know, and be able to open it. But for now, only murder minions. You are the special ones. You true crime people, you get a free pass into that Discord to discuss things with us. That is where we're posting the episodes now. I'm starting to post some of the evidence links in there. I'm starting to make it more interactive. You can post ideas. And also, those of you who love to contribute ideas for show topics or people to cover or look at, there is also a room in there for you to post those links easily. So that we have them all for everybody to share and everybody could see what you're talking about, and check out the videos that you're recommending and the cases that you're recommending. So, yeah, my voice changing. Mrs. Cassandra, don't be a brat. Don't help them. Gosh, don't help those pedants. Yeah, yes, I said, yeah, you're going to say that too. Oh, Claire said pedant. Yeah, I did. Yeah. Okay. I know, Mrs. Cassandra, I love you too, boo. I really do. Okay. On that, Jay, let's wrap this. Let's put this puppy to bed. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's put the night. Right. We'll probably talk about it later at some point, but as far as the show is, we're done.
We're done. Okay. So on that, everyone, have a great night. Thank you for joining us. And we'll see you tomorrow. I will be. Jay's working. We won't see Jay tomorrow, I don't believe, right? Are you?
No, I'm off tomorrow, but I don't have anything for Tuesday.
Oh, you don't have anything? Okay. Do you have cults and conspiracies on Wednesday morning?
I'm still trying to figure it out.
Okay. To be determined for Jay on Wednesday morning. Okay. And then before Sunday, when we see him again on True Serial, we more than likely will see him on Hereticals at Six Pack first thing in the morning, where we all meet over there. In the meantime, tomorrow, if you're interested in legal in the Johnny Depp case, I'll be back again over at Auditing the Absurd all day with Ranty. It'll be the first day of live coverage. We're supposed to they did pick the jury today, so the live cam feeds will be on. Hopefully we have opening statements tomorrow, and I'm really looking forward to that. And so hopefully I'll see a few of you over there. If not, catch the replay. Ranty is a wonderful person to stream with. It's quite entertaining. He's probably the only person I've met on YouTube that talks as much as I do. So there you go. It's going to be hot because it's very interesting and it's quite entertaining, and I had a good time. So if you are all right, good night, all you murder minions. Here comes that fancy new outro.
Take care of yourself. Take care of your family.
Yes. All right. Bye, guys.